We went camping to remember our missing friend, and I think we found the thing that took him.
I've been sitting on this for weeks, staring at the Create Post button and backing out every time. Part of me is terrified someone will tell me I'm crazy. Another part is scared that if I don't write this down, it'll feel like it never happened. And then it'll happen again. I'm writing this because I can't sleep anymore. Because I still hear his voice when it gets quiet. And because I will never camp again. Not even in someone's backyard. Last year, my friend Evan vanished. No body, no blood, no note. Just his car abandoned at a trailhead, in a national park about 4 hours from where we live. His phone was found a mile down the trail, screen cracked, still powered on. Last GPS ping, deep in the forest where there are no official campsites. Search and rescue looked for weeks. Dogs lost the scent. Rangers said people go missing in parks more often than you think. Eventually, the search was suspended, pending new information, which is a polite way of saying we're done. The three of us left, me, Marcus, and Jonah, never really talked about it. We kept living, kept working, kept pretending Evan hadn't just evaporated out of our lives. So when the 1-year mark came around, Jonah suggested we go back. Not to the exact spot, he said quickly, like he'd rehearsed it. Just the park, to remember him. Get closure. I didn't want to go. Every cell in my body screamed no. But Marcus said it might help. That facing it would make the nightmares stop. I should have trusted my instincts. We picked a designated campground, busy enough that it felt safe, but far enough from the entrance that it still felt wild. The ranger at the gate gave us a weird look when we told him how long we were staying. 3 nights, and reminded us very firmly to store our food properly and not wander off marked trails. "You hear something at night," he said, handing back our permit. "No, you didn't." He laughed when he said it. None of us did. The first night was normal. Too normal. Campfire, beers, awkward laughter. We told stories about Evan like he was just late, like he might show up any second complaining about the drive. The forest around us was loud with bugs and wind and distant animal sounds, but that was expected. What wasn't expected was how quiet it got after midnight. It was like someone flipped a switch. No insects, no wind, no rustling leaves. Just dead, suffocating silence, pressing in from all sides of the tent. That's when we heard footsteps. Slow, deliberate, circling the campsite. Marcus whispered, "Probably a deer." But deer don't walk like that. There was weight in each step. A pause between them, like whatever it was thinking about where to put its foot next. Then it stopped right outside the tent, and someone whispered my name. I froze so hard, my muscles started to cramp. The voice sounded like Evan, exactly like him. Same tone, same lazy drawl, same way he used to say my name when he wanted something. "Hey, man," the voice said softly. "You awake?" Jonah started shaking. I could feel it through the sleeping bag. Marcus whispered, "This isn't funny." "I know," I said, barely moving my lips. "I know." The zipper on the tent tugged slightly, like fingers brushing it. "Guys," the voice said, closer now, wrongly close. "Why won't you let me in? It's cold." I don't know how to explain this without sounding insane, but there was something off about it. The words were right, the voice was right, but the rhythm was wrong, like it had learned to speak by listening, not by being human. Jonah lost it. He screamed Evan's name and tried to unzip the tent. Marcus and I grabbed him, wrestling him back as quietly as we could, hands clamped over his mouth. Outside, the thing went silent. Too silent. Then it laughed. Not Evan's laugh. This was stretched and wet and bubbling, like someone choking on it. The footsteps retreated slowly into the trees. None of us slept. The next morning, we told ourselves it was stress, grief, our brains filling in gaps. But when we stepped outside, there were footprints around the campsite. Bare feet, too long. Toes stretched unnaturally far apart, and they didn't lead away. They just stopped. We should have left. I know that now. But Jonah was convinced it was Evan somehow, that he survived and was messing with us. Marcus wanted proof, pictures, tracks, something to make sense of it. So we stayed. The second night, the noises came from farther away, branches snapping. Something heavy moving through the undergrowth, circling but never quite approaching. Every now and then, we'd hear Evan's voice again, calling out little inside jokes, things only we should know. Except he kept getting details wrong. He called Marcus Mark. Evan never did that. He asked Jonah if his sister was still pregnant. She'd had the baby months before Evan vanished. Each mistake felt like a needle sliding under my skin. Around 2 a.m., Jonah said he couldn't take it anymore. He burst out of the tent before we could stop him, shouting that if it was Evan, he needed to see him. I still see that moment when I close my eyes. Jonah standing at the edge of the firelight, hands shaking, calling into the trees. The voice answered from behind him, right behind him. "Jonah," it said gently, "I'm here." Something stepped into the firelight. It was shaped like a man, but that's where the similarities ended. Its limbs were too long, bending at wrong angles. Its skin hung loose, like it didn't fit what was underneath, and its face— God. It was Evan's face, stretched thin, eyes too wide, mouth pulled into a smile that showed teeth that didn't match. Jonah didn't even scream. The thing moved impossibly fast. One moment Jonah was there. The next he was being dragged backward into the dark, screaming my name, begging for help. His voice cutting off abruptly, like someone turning off a radio. Marcus ran after him. I didn't. I hate myself for that, but my body wouldn't move. I collapsed, shaking so hard my teeth cracked together. I heard Marcus shouting, then crying, then nothing. Silence again. When the sun came up, I was alone. No blood. No signs of a struggle. Just 3 sets of footprints around the campsite, and a 4th set leading into the woods. I ran. I didn't pack. I didn't follow trails. I just ran until I hit the road and flagged down a ranger, babbling like a lunatic. They searched again. They always do. They told me trauma can cause shared hallucinations. They said grief does terrible things to the mind. They never explained why Evan's phone, missing for a year, was found neatly placed on my car hood. Or why, sometimes when my apartment gets quiet at night, I hear footsteps pacing outside my bedroom door. Slow, deliberate, and a familiar voice whispering my name, asking why I won't let him in. The Navajos say that once you meet a Skinwalker, it stalks you for life. Maybe I'm cursed then. Maybe that's why I don't go outside anymore, and I will never, ever camp again.
I have a newfound respect and fear for my ancestry.
I didn't believe any of this before, so if you don't believe me now, that's fine. I wouldn't either. I'm 19. My mom is white, My dad is native. I grew up off the reservation, suburbs, schools where I was that one kid, but not enough to be anything special. My dad died when I was younger, so most of what I knew about his side of the family was just photos and uncomfortable questions from teachers. This summer, my mom made me stay with my grandparents on the reservation. Said I needed connection or whatever. I didn't argue because I was tired and broke and figured I could survive a few weeks. I didn't want to be there. Their house is far out, like really far. No neighbors, no streetlights, just dirt roads and land that keeps going even when it feels like it should stop. The house itself is old and solid and quiet in a way that makes noise feel illegal. My grandparents don't talk much, especially my grandfather. He looks at you like he's always listening to something behind you. The first night I couldn't sleep. It wasn't even that anything happened, it was the feeling. Like the dark outside the window wasn't empty. Like it was crowded. I heard coyotes. That's normal. But it didn't sound right. Too close. Too many. And then there was something else underneath it. Like breathing. Slow and heavy. I told myself I was being dramatic. The second night I heard my name. Clear as day. From outside. It sounded like my mom. I almost answered. Like my mouth actually moved before my brain caught up. Then I remembered where I was. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding so hard it hurt. The voice said my name again, softer this time, like it was trying to be gentle. I didn't move. After a while, it stopped. I didn't sleep at all. In the morning, my grandmother looked at me for a long time, and then rubbed something bitter on my forehead. Didn't explain. My grandfather checked the windows and doors and told me not to go out alone after sunset. I laughed. I wish I hadn't. The third night is when I saw it. I was in the bathroom brushing my teeth. I looked up and caught movement outside the window. At first I thought it was a deer standing on its back legs or something, because that made more sense than what it actually was. It was tall, way too tall. Its legs were bent wrong, like it didn't know how joints worked. Its arms almost reached the ground, and its head, it kept jerking, like it was adjusting itself. Then it looked at me. It smiled. I don't know how to explain how wrong the smile was. It wasn't just teeth. It was like it had found a smile and stretched it across its face without understanding why humans do it. I dropped my toothbrush and backed away. Something scraped the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Then it spoke. In my grandfather's voice. Come here. I don't remember screaming, but apparently I did. My grandfather came running with his rifle already in his hands. He didn't ask questions. He didn't look confused. He just started shouting in our language. Loud enough that my ears rang. The thing outside screamed back. That sound is going to live in my head forever. It wasn't animal. It wasn't human. It sounded angry that it had been noticed. My grandfather ran after it. I stood there like an idiot, watching him disappear into the dark, convinced I'd just watched him die. My grandmother dragged me inside and slammed the door shut. She was shaking so hard I could feel it through her hands. "You let it hear you," she said. I couldn't even speak. My grandfather came back hours later, covered in dirt and sweat. He said it was gone for now. That's the phrase he used, for now. That's when they finally told me what it was. They didn't like saying the name. My grandmother wouldn't say it at all. My grandfather said it once and told me never to repeat it. He said some things learn you faster if you don't invite them. That night, my grandmother did a blessing. She burned plants that made my eyes water and my stomach twist. She drew symbols on my skin and tied a bundle into my hand and told me if I lost it, I was as good as dead. I wish I was exaggerating. The thing came back that night. It didn't touch the house this time. It walked around it, slowly, like it was counting steps. It talked. It used my mom's voice, then my dad's, then mine. I heard myself begging to be let inside. I heard myself crying. I bit my arm to keep from answering. I felt it get angry. I felt it press against something I couldn't see, like pushing on glass. But it couldn't cross whatever my grandmother had done. Eventually it left. I left the reservation a few days later. My grandparents hugged me like they weren't sure they'd see me again. I don't laugh at the stories anymore. I don't joke about that stuff. I don't go out at night without thinking about the dark watching back. There are things tied to my family that I didn't earn the right to ignore. And now that one of them knows my face, I don't think it's ever really going to forget me. If you're reading this and you think you hear someone calling your name outside when they shouldn't be, don't answer.
What the hell has happened to my neighbor's dog?
Okay, so I don't know if this is the right place to post this, but I'm shaking while typing, and I just need someone to read this. Please don't tell me I'm making it up, or that I need sleep or meds. I swear on my life, this is real. I'm 16. I live in a supernormal neighborhood. Nothing weird ever happens here. Like I mean nothing. Cul-de-sacs, soccer moms, old people walking dogs, that kind of place. My neighbor is this old guy, Mr. Harlan. He lives alone. Everyone knows him because of his dog. His dog was named Buddy. Big dog. Old. Super friendly. He'd press his head against the fence if you walked by so you'd pet him. He never barked. Ever. I don't think I'd heard him bark a single time in the years I've lived here. 2 weeks ago, Buddy went missing. Mr. Harlan was devastated. Like absolutely wrecked. He came door to door with the leash in his hand, asking if anyone had seen him. His hands were shaking so bad he could barely hold it. My mom helped him make flyers. I helped tape them up. We looked everywhere. Nothing. After like a week, everyone kind of accepted the dog was gone. Except Mr. Harlan. He still put food out. Still walked around the yard, calling Buddy, like he expected him to answer. Then the noises started. First night I woke up to scratching outside. Not loud, just slow and repetitive, like something with patience. I thought it was a raccoon or our cat or something, so I tried to ignore it. Then I heard whining. Not like a dog whining, more like someone trying to imitate a dog whining. It sounded strained. Wrong. I got up and looked out my window. Buddy was standing in Mr. Harlan's yard. I swear to God, my first thought was relief. Like, oh, thank God. He came back. But something was off immediately. He was too skinny. His fur looked clumped together like it had been wet and dried and wet again. And he was just standing there. Not sniffing. Not wagging his tail. Just standing perfectly still. He was staring at my window. I don't know how to explain this without sounding crazy, but it felt like eye contact. Not dog looking at light. Like actual eye contact. Focused. Aware. Then he turned and walked behind the house. I waited for Mr. Harlan to come out. Waited to hear him cry or shout or anything. Nothing happened. Next morning I asked my mom if Buddy had come back. She said no. That's when I got scared for real. Second night, I didn't sleep much. I kept waking up. Around 2:40-ish, I heard footsteps outside. Heavy ones. Slow, like something walking and thinking about it. I looked again. Buddy was closer, standing under the tree this time. And then he did something I can't get out of my head. He stood up, not jumping, not stretching. He stood on his back legs. His body looked too long when he did it, like it wasn't meant to do that. His front legs hung there, like they didn't know what they were for anymore. He swayed, like he was learning balance. Then he turned his head without moving his body and looked straight at me again. I couldn't breathe. I felt like if I made any noise, he'd hear it. Then he ran, on two legs, fast, way too fast. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next day, Mr. Harlan looked awful, worse than before, like he hadn't slept in days. My mom asked if he'd heard anything about Buddy. He said, "I hear him at night, but he won't come inside." I almost threw up. Third night was the worst so far. I woke up to coughing. Deep, wet coughing, like something choking on fluid. It sounded close. I looked. Buddy was right under my window. I could see blood dripping from his mouth, splashing into the grass. Every time he coughed, his whole body jerked. Then he lifted his head and opened his mouth wider. What came out wasn't barking. It was like someone trying to push words through the wrong throat. "Hell, I froze. Then, Harlan. I fell back onto my bed. My ears were ringing. I don't even remember moving. When I looked again, he was gone. That's when I started Googling. I know everyone makes fun of this stuff, but I didn't know what else to do. I found stories about skinwalkers, about things that wear animals and try to copy people, about how they try to talk but can't get it right, and how you're not supposed to acknowledge them. Fourth night, I didn't look out the window at all. I heard scratching right below my room, louder now, more urgent. Then a voice, my voice. "Mark." I slammed my earbuds in and blasted music until morning. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I was going to die. Fifth night, I heard claws scraping up the side of the house. Slow, careful, like it didn't want to fall. I could hear it breathing through the wall. I stayed completely still. I don't think I blinked for hours. Sixth night, there was knocking. On my window, 3 slow taps. I didn't answer. I didn't look. I just started crying. I called the cops that morning. They came, looked around, said, "Maybe a sick animal." Said stress does weird things. Said I should sleep more. Mr. Harlan was found dead the next morning. Heart attack. He was sitting on his porch holding Buddy's leash. Last night was the 7th night. I heard breathing in the hallway, not outside. Inside my house. Right outside my bedroom door. Slow, steady, excited. Then something whispered, really quietly, "Mark, I'm home." I don't know what to do. I haven't slept. My parents don't hear anything. I locked my door, but I don't think that matters. If you hear something outside your window at night, please don't look. If it knows your name, it's already been watching you. I think whatever came back wearing Buddy is done practicing, and I think I'm next.